Yeah, I wrote Super Shady just about Beth.
Oh, yeah. The whole thing. That might have been a better that's a better title.
Super Shady.
Retitle it. That's in it right there. Retitle is Super Shady. Thank you. Good job. We don't have to worry about that category. Check that off. Yes, Super Shady is the name of this episode. Better than that. Oh, that's great. Okay.
What up, Challenge fans? We are Final Alliance Podcast. We just finished watching episode 5 of season 3 of All Stars, titled More Than Friends. More Than Friends.
I hate the title. We right before we go on to start this podcast.
Or More Than Friends question.
Yeah, and I guess I didn't pay attention when I loaded it up today on Paramount. But we ended the last podcast with how much you don't do these things, you don't say those things, you don't speculate, especially someone who's brand new, and to speculate in a relationship that she knows nothing about. And for them to just piggyback onto that in this title, it's not. I still don't like it. It's not fair, and who knows? I mean, maybe you've got something in the tea later on or whatever else, but I just don't like. And we're going to talk more about Beth, and we'll talk about Janae, and we'll talk about MJ. But I don't like the title. That's fine. We can figure out. I mean, if we had to like retitle, we can use that in a category or whatever else. I guess we can get there.
Well, and they let us in the preview to believe that this was going to be like a huge part of the episode, and it really, I felt like it was just like a small part.
It's enough. Well,
compared to like what the preview showed, that made me think like this is going to be
okay. The preview was like, I'm sitting down because I heard what you said.
Right.
But really, she sits down and she says, I heard my name. Why do you want to throw me in? Like, I just don't trust you as any other reason. And Beth won't fess up to what she said to Mark and to Sylvia, saying like, I don't trust her. Why is that? And I just don't trust her because she's probably
which is complete and total garbage. And we'll talk about it more, but if you have the courage to say it to somebody, you better say it to the person you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's the thing. Like, if you put someone's name in your mouth, you better be able to own up to it. And if
you're going to
spread
a whole like real world thing, like from back in the day, it's like if you're going to say something, talk about me to my face. Yeah. That was like always like a big real world thing back in the day.
Yeah, well, and that's
apparently.
Funny. Yeah, no, it's funny because there's a time
in
there where Beth says like, I would just wish the OGs would like take out some of these new people. Like, you're 24 hours in the house, so I mean, we'll get to it, but. I guess later on, maybe at the end of the category, who won the episode, maybe by then we'll click and it'll come up with a retitle type of thing, but we'll talk more about it. But yeah, Beth is just I'm sorry. It was bad from jump when they brought her back in, and it ended terribly, and I hope they never bring her back, to be honest with you. I didn't want her in the first place, and so it's not going to...
I agree.
I'm not going to go, oh, that's terrible by production by doing that. So.
It's interesting because I've seen several tweets where people are like, we're super stoked that she was back and calling her Queen Beth, and like, she brings all this to the show. And
she brings nothing.
And whatever. Episode starts, they hit us with 4 non-blondes. What's going on?
Yeah, not bad.
Right when they're like coming back into the house after Beth and MJ win. Mm-hmm. Was it MJ?
No. Jordan took out Darrell. Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, yeah, that's right. That was huge. Love that song. It's one of my girlfriends, Megan. It's her karaoke song, so I knew it right away. Beth's quickly realizing that, no one's like super stoked that she's back. And rightfully so, I feel like. She doesn't have these relationships with people. She's not really doing anything to like foster them. Then we have a conversation with, Sylvia and Kayla talking about who they're going to use potentially the sabotage on. Mm-hmm. They're thinking maybe Kellyanne, maybe Beth, maybe Johnny. Did Johnny come up?
Yeah, a little bit, but they just didn't know if they could trust her because she's not in the treehouse. It's not like they don't like her. It's just like, well, she's not in the treehouse, so basically process of elimination, your name is going to be thrown out there.
Which is interesting because I listened to Kellyanne on the Official Challenge podcast. I actually listened to it last week. And she gave a great interview. She was fantastic. And she said that Kayla had reached out to her pre the show, like DM'd her, wanting to work with her. Then they get there, and it's like, nope, Sylvia's here. Never mind.
And you're not in the treehouse. You're not whatever. I mean, things change, and you have to kind of create relationships before you're in there. And Wes has proven that time and time again. Lay the seeds or whatever else, and you can always say like, I want. That leads you to just. That's actually not a bad thing because just let's just say first episode, because you don't know how the format goes.
True.
And it happens to be you're bunking there, whatever else, and then you say, let's say Kellyanne throws her name out there, and she's like, why? And she's like, but I wanted to work with you. You know it's in DMs, and then she has nothing more to say. So it's okay to like, it's the Big Brother. It's the Big Brother. You can bounce checks in the Big Brother house. You can bounce checks in the challenge house too, in your DMs. So
to a certain point, though, because these people keep coming back. So
yeah, that's a good point too.
It doesn't. I mean, only if you feel like you're never going to come back.
The thing about the challenge, if you're going to be good at it, you have to evolve your game as the rules change, and that's going to be something that's big in the last 20 minutes of this episode.
Absolutely.
Then you have Kellyanne and Beth talking, and I do not want to see Beth in her glasses and her matching pajamas ever in my life. Like,
there was nothing wrong. Like, I mean, Kellyanne had her little like sleep mask on and like a towel or a blanket around her. And
yeah, I get that or whatever else, but it's just like, and then she's like, oh, wish these OGs we could do this. And we're like, oh God, you just look. I don't know. I don't want to offend anybody.
Well, and I liked that Kellyanne said to her, she's like, you should be really happy that you're here.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it just don't come in, rough and feathers. I want you to just lay low.
Right, like my friend that really wanted to be here just went home. Like, come on, like be happy you're here, girl. And it's just it's gonna suck because we're gonna have to talk about her a lot, and I just don't like talking about her. But anyway, so moving on. Then we have Mark, Derek, Wes, and Brad talking.
This is an interesting thing that's going to lead more forward, and like production's going to give it to you what you want. And I do think like again, not to beat the dead horse, but those who've listened over and over, production's going to let you know something's going on. So they ended episode 4, and we thought Janae and Beth were going to have this big thing.
Johnny, don't be
that's
doing
right,
that.
That's right. Oh gosh, my apologies. But that is a big deal because it's going to kind of change who goes into the arena. Because of this little conversation. So, anyway, Wes is just like, I want to be your Darrell.
Correct. Mm-hmm. He says, sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
And Derek's like, what was that? Like, I guess they just haven't been around Jordan much.
Yeah.
And Wes makes a really good point. He's like, we're not crying wolf. Like, that's a wolf.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that leads us into them saying, okay, or Wes saying, we're going to target the champs. So that's Yes, MJ, and then right behind, Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jordan knows this. He's like, they all want me out. I can see the sharks circling. Then we go into the challenge.
Yeah.
You kind of called it last week. You were close. You were almost there. So they're bringing the authority down to 2.
Mm-hmm.
Just one woman, one man. That's all they kind of tell us at this point. They say the authority is 2 people. They don't tell us if it's the bottom person goes in, anything to that point.
Yeah. Yep.
So at that point, you're just thinking, okay, there's just 2 people voting on who is going to go against the bottom person.
Mm-hmm.
That was my thought process.
That's what I thought as well. And I actually watched this twice. Not the whole episode, but this scene, and I was like, I'm with you, of course, on this, that I was like, oh, I get it. They just get to see who goes in. So the bottom person says, like, I'd like to see it. And then I was like, okay, what if they don't get along? What if they don't agree? And then TJ's going to go, if you can't go in, then if you don't get along, then you're going in. So anyway, yeah, I thought the exact same thing.
Challenge called Sidetracked. I liked this one. It was good. Endurance. Got to run down a dirt track. Everybody has a star that has 5 corresponding pegs and 5 corresponding rings.
Yeah.
Once your star is full, then you're eliminated. Last person left wins.
I guess I like this one.
And the sabotage means one of your rings is just already going to be on there.
I think this is perfect timing to have something like this. I mean, it is the end of the school year. And a lot of elementaries have those like fun
Field
nights.
days.
Yeah, fun nights. And when you get all those tickets or whatever else, and your parents buy these for you, you're running around from event to event. Usually it's going to be a ring toss on a 2-liter of soda, Mountain Dew.
Oh, yeah. We do that at our school.
Yeah, what 4th grader doesn't want to get hopped up on Mountain Dew? So it's kind of aptly appropriate for this time of year. School's getting out. Let's run, get some rings, throw them on the thing, and instead of winning a 2-liter Mountain Dew, maybe you'll win a challenge. I like it.
I like it. Do we know what distance that was they went? Like, was it like an actual track, like a circle? Because it looked like there were different spots where, like, maybe one person was going to one spot, one person was going to another.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't all going to the same spots.
Well, the up and down Sidetracked that's where the spots, or I can't say buckets, but where they had the rings in there.
Okay.
So if you were looking for a specific one, they might be out of all orange over here, so you'd have to go a different route. That's why
Gotcha.
you're going up and down. It's not
Okay.
anything like there's a cut through, but because if you would look at it, I saw the same thing, and I'm like, well, if that one's shorter, then there's got to be like a mud pit or something they have to go through. But really, it's because that's where if there were so many and then they're out there, then they have to go because if they're looking for it. And this one's really good. This actual episode's really good because it shows how smart production is thinking ahead. And if you go back, those who listen and those who watch, we've talked about it on previous podcasts. The interns, producers, whatever else, they'll do these challenges and they'll talk it through and they'll kind of almost do it to like they're in their own alliances. And this one will show how much they are now. That's how good they are at creating this game, that they're steps ahead before these champions have figured out the game.
Absolutely. So. Well, and it was cool. I liked it a lot. And yeah, you were forced to put your cards out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just lay it out there. Like, here's who I'm going for or not or working with, whatever. The men, most of them, meet prior to this. We've got Mark, Nehemiah, Wes, Brad. And I noticed this in my second watch. Oh, wait, Derek, too. Did I say Derek?
Yeah.
Yes is there, too, during this conversation.
Okay.
He's standing there while they're talking about, they're like, oh, yeah, I'll win, Mark. I can be in the authority.
We'll let you win, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll take out this. We're going to do X,
Mark's
Y,
like,
and
I
Z,
can
and
win.
then we will take each other out. And Mark, do you want it? And he's like, yeah, I'll take it, yeah.
And they asked Brad first. They're like, so you're going for MJ? And he's like, well, I gave him a ring to start because I sabotaged him. And then Kayla sabotaged Beth, too, which at first I thought I literally wrote lame. But then I'm like, if they didn't know going in how people going to the arena was going to go, yeah, giving it to Beth was good because, I mean, likely all the other women can beat her. So, you know what I mean? Based on who gets voted in. So anyway, Brad says, I'm giving it to MJ, so I'm going to close that out.
Yeah.
And then that's when they kind of come up with this plan to give it to Mark. And this is where Brad gets, like, as it's happening, he's kind of like, okay, yeah, but we're seeing the interviews, and he's like, what did I just agree to?
Mm-hmm.
Because he doesn't really know, like, all we know is if you win, obviously you're safe. But that's, like, it. How did you feel about Brad in this whole situation?
Well, Wes comes in not like a forecasted hurricane, but comes in and just scoops up the room and says, this is what I want to do. I want to work with you. And they're like, no one's like, nah, I don't know about you or anything. Like, I know your past or anything. They're all kind of like listening. And he does a great job of like, here's what we can do. They're two champions. They got to go. And Jordan's this. And they're like, yeah, we're in. And he does a great job of everything going on here. And even Brad and their buddies. And Brad's like, yeah. I just didn't like the second guessing of it. Because really, Brad was just like, no matter what it was, he was like, I'm giving him the sabotage because I've already done it.
Right.
We're not getting along. So right now they're all like, okay, we're following you. So that's how compromises work and allies. Like, oh, we're following your lead then, of course. Where Wes could have said, I want Yes out. He's like, it's MJ? And he's like, yeah. He's like, then we'll take MJ out. And Brad's like, okay, got it. So then they're all collectively, no one said like, it wasn't like Mark said, I'm going to be the winner. It was just like, who wants it? And he was just kind of like, I'll do it. And they're like,
yeah, it did kind of seem.
It's almost, it's who wants the blood on their hands? Who wants it sabotage? And he's like, I'll take it. And it's not like Brad was like.
Well, I also think maybe a respect thing. Like, Mark's the person who's been doing this the longest. I think maybe that was kind of like, all right, we'll let you take it.
Okay, then what it really shows is Brad, great competitor. You can do all these things and, you could win it. But you're not thinking 2 steps ahead like other people are. And he should have been thinking, well, if MJ goes out, what if he calls my name out or whatever? What if the authority votes me in? He should have been like, wait, I need to protect myself. And he doesn't get that till a fourth into the challenge. If I'm giving him that much. Might have been half or 3/4 of the way through, but I think it was after they got MJ out. Then I think it was at his confessional, but it could have been anytime. But that's the thing. He's not thinking 2 steps ahead. He's in the middle going, what did I agree to? Why am I doing this?
I think it's hard, like, as a competitor to essentially throw something.
Oh, yeah.
I think that obviously anybody who's competed before in anything, it's like, how do you just, like, let somebody win when, like, you could take it?
And to feel like it's good for this quote-unquote alliance that just got formed in a room, like, day before, minutes before, I don't care. And it's also hard to throw to someone who's walking back and forth.
That was, yes.
And
that bothered me.
You're busting your rear end to knock everybody out, and you're like, this guy's just walking?
Yeah, that I didn't love that from Mark. I get him being like, hey, it's nice to be the king sometimes.
That's why he annoys me sometimes.
But yeah, I didn't love that. And I felt for Brad in that situation because it's like I'm hauling my butt trying to, give you this win, trying to, like, knock everybody out. And then it's like, you're walking.
So, and Brad, he's right. He's like, I think I could win this. In the thing, later on, he'll go on to say, I think I could have won it, but I think I could win this. And now and you're at that point where it's like, oh, he's going to go rogue.
I was this whole time, like, because we're getting, like, lots of Brad interviews. I'm hearing you in my head being like, foreshadowing. And I'm like, and I looked at Charlie and I go, oh God, Brad's going to go in. Brad's going to go in. Like, I was, like, freaking out because, how I feel about Brad. But that kind of, like, it didn't play out that way, which was interesting.
That's, to use another term that throws around, that's why you will see that Wes is playing chess when everyone else is playing checkers.
Yes.
And we'll see that.
He's freaking brilliant.
Yeah, we'll see that more. Yeah, it's easy to do. It's easy to walk around like Mark when there's no rings on there or anything. I jump a few scenes ahead. I was proud of Jemmy was on Banana's podcast.
Oh yeah, I listened to about half of it. I didn't finish it.
And she was just same thing. The way I said, I don't care to hear about the money, why you need it more than I do.
She said that too.
Yeah, she was like, I get it that you have kids or whatever else. Like, that doesn't mean that I'm going to lay down for you and not fight for this position. So, Brad, I hate the fact that we all hate the fact that anyone lost their job in COVID or whatever else. We all could use the money, but that's not a reason to be like, well, you already decided to throw it. At this point, when he says this in the episode, this is past the moment when he's already in. If it wasn't dwindling down and people have to throw rings on each other, that they're in this so-called alliance, and not Mark to protect him, Brad would have won it. I would assume, because he's got rings on there because of not just Mark, other people.
But
MJ,
Jordan can run as fast as heck, he said.
He said more than that. Yeah.
Fast as F.
Yeah.
If it was just you run, you throw it on your own, and once you get 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We're not, yeah.
But I mean, we're talking about, like, you're to kind of just play devil's advocate and I guess be against Brad in this situation, which is weird. Like, if he didn't have those people working with him, I mean, who knows? Who knows?
Okay. I mean, that's fair. Yeah. So, but I mean, he agreed to it, and now he's second guessing it, and so, and I guess we'll get to that more when he talks later, when we get to who goes in the arena.
So the women go. I mean, obviously, no surprise. Mark wins. Surprise.
Here's what I didn't like about this, and sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, go ahead.
They easily figured out this game just as fast as the guys did. But the strategy is all you find out in their confessional, where it looks like the guys strategized this, and they're like, we're going to do this. And the women figured it out just as fast as they did, but you don't really have those conversations like, we're going after this person, we're going after that, we're doing this, and then we're going to go down.
Yeah. Well, because they have, there's the alliance, the treehouse. They already know they're not going to go for each other.
I'm sorry, that's the way it came off to me. It was just kind of like, oh, light bulb. You know what we can do? We can get Beth's already got one. We can get Beth out and Kellyanne, and we can do this. Light bulb just went on. Hey, let's work together, Veronica. Okay, Kayla, let's do this and that. Okay, Sylvia. I didn't like that. Because guarantee you they watched that, and they were like,
I see what they're doing.
yeah. And is there anything at all? This is the other thing I thought about. When you have to call someone out or sabotage or whatever else, and you're in an alliance, let's say the three of us are in it, all right? Klinger's in it too. And we've already,
God, I would hope the three of us
are in an alliance, right? And there's like two that we don't like, all right? And we're like, okay, if we look at that challenge or we look at whatever the arena is, if I tug on my right ear, we're saying this name.
Okay.
We're all going to tug. Like, we're all going to agree. And if we left is this. Like, why are they not doing things like that? Like, giving baseball signs, little things like,
that's
hey,
a great idea.
instead of, like, having to talk it through or anything. Like, I just was like, and I don't know where it came, at what point, but it was just kind of like, if you're just like, you know, and they start doing sign language. Like, instead of being like, oh, did my name come out of your mouth? No, it didn't. You
right.
know?
Like,
you
you
can
could
find
be
out
like,
later at the reunion.
D,
but yeah, don't worry
we're
about
going for Derek.
Yeah, you know? So I don't know what, but and maybe... Because I think maybe that's where it came from. Like, how did the girls just figure it out? They made it seem like it was a light bulb, when I'm pretty sure they watched the whole thing and the guys going after MJ and picking him off, and they're like, yeah, we're going to do that, right? Hey, can we go, hey, pee break, the three of us have to go together. You know, us girls, we can't strategize. We just have to go to the restroom together, you know, because we're just girls, everybody. So I would like to see their strategy.
I feel like it was, obviously they to a certain point knew what they were doing. It just wasn't as like obviously spotlighted, organized the way that we saw it from the men.
It does, though. I'm sorry. They made it sound catty, like, and then I look over and Naya's throwing it on my
right.
And it's like, I'm not gonna forget this. And it's like just catty, where the other guys are like, I mean, Yes was just like, huh? Or Wes called it out to Yes. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm not. Oh, Mr. Play it up straight. Well, that's where I was like, Wes, calm down.
Right.
Anyone can throw whatever else. Like, where was Yes supposed to throw? What straight up game? And maybe that has to do with him being in the meeting.
He was standing, and that's where I was at, because it was like when I watched it, because I watched it twice. I'm like, Yes is standing there during this little meeting.
Yeah, he was never.
So maybe that was part of this, where Wes has that whole thing about him. Who knows? I don't know. We have not given enough credit to Ronnie this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Every single challenge she has killed.
Yeah.
She's a sleeper. I think she's...
No, I like her.
She's fantastic.
You know...
she's one of the strongest women, for sure.
She's got the... I feel like I'm dropping like cliche after cliche, but she's got the let everyone think you're fooled and open up your mouths and prove them right, you know, type of thing. So she's just quiet, let it go.
Is that Abraham Lincoln? I think it's a Lincoln quote.
Maybe. Could be a Churchill thing, too. I don't know.
One or the other. They're,
yeah.
You know.
But, yeah, leave us in the
They're
comments.
super simple.
Every cliche I've had, look it up and tell me
similar.
where I brought them from. I don't know. So, but yeah, I do like what you're saying about Ronnie. She's
good.
Always quick confessionals. There's no drama. She's involved. And
she was just whoosh, with the ring toss. Just killing it.
Going for that Mountain Dew Tulip.
There was a cute moment. Oh, first of all, well, during the men's heat, they hit us with Soulja Boy.
Oh, yeah,
Crank that.
Mm-hmm.
And I got like really excited. I like started dancing. I was like, wait, what was the dance?
I don't know.
Or something. It was like something and then kick. I don't know.
Yeah.
And crank that. I don't know. Whatever. Let's see here.
We got our winners.
So the women's heat. Oh, this was cute. And this is a nomination for best line. Sylvia says that Beth just keeps like giving her dirty looks like before they start, like trying to intimidate her.
Yeah, this.
She's like, there's only one woman I'm scared of, and she's 5'1", and her name is Yvonne, and she's my mama.
Yeah, that's
that was cute.
I can co-sign.
I like
I don't
that.
Think there's
that was
be a better one
adorable.
other than that. Yeah.
And then during the women's heat, they hit us with NKO TV, Hangin' Tough.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was a good one.
Yep.
That also got me excited. So those were like the 3 songs I really liked. I mean, the women's heat was good. Sylvia wins. Veronica was 2nd. Ronnie 3. But all that really matters is that Sylvia won.
Yeah. She'll have the Sabotage next time. Mark will have the Sabotage next one.
Which will be interesting. And then now TJ informs us that there's more to this twist. So not only is the authority only 2 people instead of 4, the authority, you get to pick 2 people to go in to the arena, and then everyone except for you 2 needs to like get dressed, be ready to go.
Calm down, and
because the people who are voted in get to pick who they want, and that shifts things. And it made me nervous, but it also made me really excited because it's like we're getting down to the nitty gritty, and this is going to be really good after this episode.
Yeah. And this is where you see, as much as we said production can jump ahead and they can figure out these champions, the champions quickly figure out, let's not throw in who we want to throw in.
Right.
Let's throw in who wants to go in that wants to call somebody out.
Exactly.
And that is a great way to zig when it got zagged. So that's the fun thing about it. If you watch the show, if you've been watching for years like we have, to be like, oh, production wants to do this, we're going this way. And now production is going to have to come back with something else to throw them off for a little bit, for a while.
When you see the treehouse talking, and that they kind of realize that, they're like, wait, we don't want to throw in Beth because, like, Veronica, that means she could throw in you, or she could throw in Kayla. And Kayla makes a comment that I just thought was a little interesting. So there have been 5 episodes, so 5 challenges. She's won 3, Sylvia won 1, and John A won 1. She says, we've won almost 100% of the challenges. So 4 out of 5 is 80%.
That's great. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. All right.
You know, I just it made me laugh. I was like, wait,
you're not getting an A- with 80%. It's not. Yeah, it's not 100%. Yeah. No. Yeah. And then so this is where they come back. They're doing their strut, but now they're getting ready to go out, right?
Getting ready to go out.
And that's when Yes is like, there is no dancing from the
I
DJ.
saw the lights.
Yeah.
The lights that you said were out.
Yes,
at the bar.
Yeah.
I saw them when they were walking. I think it was like Nehemiah and Mark walking in, and you're right, there were 3 of them.
Yeah. Pick the lights.
Yeah, once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Lights, guys. Come on, MTV. What did they take since they took pyrotechnics out of the budget, they took just all lighting? I guess it's only on the MTV show where they blow up stuff.
And then I did notice there was no one else in the bar.
No.
It felt very reminiscent of like the No Fun Dome or
no
the
dog
Party
in this
Pod.
episode either.
No.
Yeah.
There was a moment where it looked like Kellyanne was grabbing like it looked like a wrapped sandwich is what it looked like, or like food wrapped in like a napkin, and I was like, is that for the dog? We never saw the dog.
Maybe he'll come
I
up in the
asked her
reunion.
on her Insta. That's because she's like, what am I grabbing for my purse? And I'm like, is it food for the dog? So we'll see if she says anything.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Nothing yet. We'll check in a little
bit.
So yeah, nobody really even appears to be drinking much. It's just stress.
Yeah.
Everybody's gameplay. MJ says he wants Brad.
Yeah, and
He's saying this to Mark, and him, Mark and Brad are close. So
this is a typical move. This is a move of, you say my name, I'm taking out one of your strongest allies. Not
absolutely
close, but Brad's tough. That is a typical move. You do it every time.
Always.
If you feel threatened, you threat back with something else.
for sure.
Yeah.
Beth meets with Sylvia and Mark.
Mm-hmm.
This is where she gives us the line, which is, she's cheating on her husband.
Yeah, I just
with
don't
MJ.
trust her. Why? I don't like her game. I don't like her game. I don't trust her game. I don't trust her in general. Why is that? She's cheating on her husband with MJ. Come on.
And then Johnny's like, almost like someone like summoned her. She's like, nope. And she comes over, and Mark's like, hey. And she's like, no. Asks her, why do you want to put me in? And she's like, I don't think you're honest, or something to that nature. And then she's like, well, why? And she can't give her any, she's not giving her any, she's like, I just don't like the way you play the game.
They're going to tell everybody that she just said it. Why would you not just say it?
Right.
Because it automatically, they don't even go to, it's that obvious that they don't even go to Mark or Sylvia going up to anyone, to John A. or MJ, and saying, this is what she said. They just flat out just are like, you guys get it.
Sylvia and Mark's faces.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Sylvia's face would have so been mine. She was like,
yeah. But
so
production's just like, you
uncomfortable.
guys get it. You know what's going to happen. We don't need to show this thing. And by the way, since you mentioned that they're not really drinking, if they were drinking, that would have been a fallout to see, though. That would have been great television, because then Sylvia, the bus ride or whatever. Can you imagine bananas on that bus ride? just screaming like, you know you said it, say it again, say it to her face.
Yes.
Yeah, if they were drinking afterwards when they're all just scarfing food down their throat, they would have been like, oh, you know what
like
you
the
said.
Pizza fight night.
Oh,
yeah.
it would have been bad. But, of course, and they're just sober, so everyone's just kind of like minding their P's and Q's. And then when they
I think MJ had a couple of beers. That's like
when
the
they
only person I
have,
saw
like,
drinking. Kayla.
They have
West.
pillow talk, and then they're just like, oh, did you hear what she said? And then they, and MJ's like, I'm not. And she said the same
MJ
thing.
had a great response. He's like, she wants a reaction. I'm not going to give it to her.
Yeah.
But the fact that she had the audacity to say it seconds, minutes before, then John A. sits right down, and she won't say it to her is just disgusting to me. Because you're putting this, I mean, this is now on the show. This is now, like, everyone's talking about it. There was already, like, a little bit of, like, maybe buzz just because their friendship or whatever, like, based on, like, things on the internet. But it wasn't, like, out there.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, she just, like, chose to put that out there and then didn't have the guts to, like, actually do it. She started a fire and ran away.
Yeah.
And I think that's garbage.
Yeah. I know. I agree.
I don't like her.
I really do.
Just putting that out there.
No. I said
I
it last week, though.
She did call her Janae.
Yeah, and then
Twice. And there is something to be said about a white woman repeatedly getting a black woman's name wrong.
Okay.
There's something about it that I don't like, and it was very rude and gross, and yuck, not here for that.
Well, it's also maybe just like disrespect in general, just to be like not
but
to do it. But yeah, I understand your point. She's
like
clueless.
That was what I thought right away. I was like,
she's just clueless, and she always has been. Like this is not a Bananas and Wes know to make good television, but in real life they're good people. Whatever.
Right.
You can't convince me the other way that Beth just knows good television. She knows she's there for drama. Not when you're in there for 36 hours. You went in for 36 hours and just acted a fool.
Mm-hmm.
And acted like you knew all these people and what you're doing. And you even said to Kellyanne, I just wish the old people could get along, could get new people out. You don't know them.
Be nice to people.
Because you might have read something or whatever else. I don't even know where that comes from. I don't know. I mean, you can spill the tea that someone else said something on the internet. But no, I just don't think, again, I don't think that's cranking it up, your personality up 110%. I just think that's a personality. I think she's
an awful person.
I think she's the person in the pickup line for her kids. Everyone's like, I don't want her. Or at the PTA meetings, I don't want her here. I don't want her on my committee. I just don't.
True.
We are not going to do a bake sale together if they were in the same PTA. It's just not happening. I'm not doing it. I don't care.
Well, and it could be argued, like, you got our producer laughing. It could be argued. Like, I watch a lot of Real Housewives.
Okay.
Things like this come out often on Real Housewives, and they're like, well, you put your life out there, but this is not like that. Like Real Housewives, it's like they're following around their whole life and their family and all that kind of stuff. This, we get to know a little bit about them, but it's controlled, and like we're in like a game environment. So like this like personal shit stuff, whether it is or is not true, is just so below the belt, and I'm not.
Give me the time frame. 3 weeks, 5 weeks. What is it?
I think it was. I'm not positive, but probably like a month, maybe a little bit more.
So right between 4 or 5 weeks. All right. That is a tenth of a year, less than. And this other shows that you're talking about, they tape much longer than that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna feel like because you thought something because they were partners, or you read something on Twitter or whatever else, that you're gonna use this as an advantage. And everyone. By the way, majority of them were
Nobody was on
season 2 with her, with them. I mean, we said there was 6 overall returning, and they're going to go, oh yeah, Beth, you're right. We knew it all along, but we just didn't want to say it. That's just creating nonsense. And I think, to be honest with you, we've given this way too much time.
Agreed,
Beth, on this situation, we can talk about her in the arena.
Anyway,
you know what? That's why it's not Beth.
I hate her more than I hate Fessy.
It's not Beth. It's Bleth. Bleth.
Also, this was brought to my attention. How many Beths do you know that are like super awesome?
Beths that are super awesome.
I mean, Moss's Beth is
great. Yeah, that's the first one that came to mind. 2 maybe Maybe. I guess at that point.
Someone else told me that they're like, every Beth they met was like
someone
awful.
have to throw it in there, and then if you gave me an over-under, like if you name it, I'd say 2.5, and people, if they got to 3, I'd say good for you. So I put the number everyone could get to maybe 2.5. They'd struggle at 2. Be like, I'm going to get to 3. But then it'd be like, how many do you know that are bless?
Just the one.
And they'd be like, I know a lot of bless. I'm like, yeah, I know. Her name is Beth. Yeah.
Oh, heavens to Bessie.
Mm-hmm.
So the next morning, Brad wakes up Wes. He's got Mark with him. Let's go chat outside. Wes and Mark, did you notice how sleepy their eyes were during this conversation? Like, they totally had the I just woke up face.
Yeah, but and that's what Wes, he's like, what? Huh? And I'm like, listen, don't get out of that bed with those tighty whities. I don't want to see it. Don't do this. And Brad's like, we got to talk. And then he's like, I got to think about my future. And I always hate these things. I really do. I really got to talk about this. I don't, again, hate the part. Lost my job with COVID. Got to think about my future. Like, I've done a lot here. Like, you just are now catching up to the game is what you are.
But he has been on The Authority like 3 times.
I know, but he's catching up to what's going on. Like I already said earlier,
the gameplay.
You could have figured it out as they were talking about it and gone, huh? Like, no, I don't think so. I'm going to, or in the whole thing, look over into everyone and go, I'm calling an audible. I'm not going to, rogue, but this guy could throw me in now that what TJ just gave us information. So anyway, yeah, and this is where
I appreciate that he wanted to like air it out instead of like just like holding on to it and being like, rah.
What did he think was going to happen?
I don't know. I think I don't know. But Wes, oh my gosh, wow.
This is why I say, what do you think's going to happen? Wes gives the ultimate answer, and the one thing that's going to win him over, and it's not the whole, well, I was in his wedding or I officiated Nehemiah's or whatever else. I don't care. That's exactly what you do. Like, if you want, then I'll go in. If you don't want to do it, and then it's like, if you do that, I'll forget everything. Okay, sounds good. It was a one. I think you were trying to say it was a great response, stand up thing, and I think it was a no brainer out of Wes anyway, because Wes is really thinking this game like, I'm taking control.
True.
Over this. At any point, MJ could throw me in or throw you in, and then I lose you. But now at least I get to take control of where I want to go. You know. And
yeah, I think Wes is extremely strategic for sure. But I thought it was very stand up. It was very nice and cool.
I feel like is filmed and perceived as stand up, but it's Wes. And he's not doing anything.
This whole thing
he goes on to tell you, I'm going to troll everybody. He later on says, people think I'm going to do one thing. I'm not. I'm here to troll. So
well, he's like, you zig, I zag. Or you think I'm going to zig, I'm going to zag.
Yeah, I love it. We'll leave it at stand-up thing. I know you really want to hear me say that.
That moment, I've been like super Brad this season.
Okay,
you've been hearing all about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. And then that moment, I was like, oh, I forgot how much I love Wes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Wes is so great. Because, like, I feel like he is a good person. And he's a great competitor. He's fun to watch. So I was like, it made me really happy. It's him and his wife, Amanda's anniversary today, by the way.
All right.
4 years.
Okay.
She's really nice. I follow her on the Instas.
Cool.
She does yoga and stuff.
All right.
So we go into the arena. Oh, by the way, John A. had said to Sylvia that night, she's like, same thing. Put me in. I'll pick Beth.
Yeah.
So this was essentially, even though there was some like weird different things that happened, it was a very easy authority for Sylvia and Mark.
Yeah.
You got 2 people that want to go in. No blood.
It's an easy authority, but production's looking at it like, the game is not going to be easy from here on out once you've figured this whole thing out. So that's it. That's a good thing going back and forth. But yeah, I liked it. I liked that they took the game in their own hand. And that's kind of the thing when you have the stars. Eventually I have to look and go, there's something about those stars that I need to figure out as well. So now I need to go out and get them. It goes back to the skull, when you took the skulls. So, yep.
And Johnny does say she's like, one of the reasons she voted for Beth or wanted to have Beth is she has the most stars. She's like, she has the most stars. And then, she's terrible. And I want her out of the house.
Yeah. I think it's just the arena next. There's no like bed thing. We went the next day where they talked, they all talked and figured out, and he said, I'll go in.
Was the arena called Super Shady? Or did I just call something super shady?
No,
I
it's
called
like
something super
knockoff
shady.
or something like that. It's nothing like that. It's like a knockoff or off the shelf or something like that. Is it shelf life?
Knockoff.
Okay.
Oh, Super Shady was
Maybe,
about.
I think shelf life would have been better than knockoff. I
Was
just
it-
came up with a good one.
Yeah, I wrote Super Shady just about Beth.
Oh yeah, the whole thing. That might have been a better. That's a better title.
Super Shady.
Retitle it. That's it right there. Retitle is Super Shady. Thank you. Good job. We don't have to worry about that category. Check that off. Yes, Super Shady is the name of this episode. Better than that. Oh, that's great. Okay.
So the women go first. John A. and Beth.
Mm-hmm. I like this one.
I do too.
I always like to think
It
if
was
we'd
cool.
like this or not or whatever else. And I like this one a lot.
Looks like bar stools, kind of.
Yeah.
And you got to push them through. You're on a platform. I don't know. How high do you think that was?
They said 30 feet.
30 feet?
Yeah.
And you're harnessed, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And you just keep pushing them and hope that you knock over your person.
Yeah.
Knock them off the...
It wasn't.
Plank.
I mean, it wasn't overwhelming. The women's one, like she was holding on to one in general that she couldn't do, and kind of trying to avoid. I'm talking about Beth trying to avoid. It's kind of interesting to figure out like where you would go if you try to like run and hide. If you, because these are the things you think about. Like I'd be sideways, but there's not a lot of room. Or how do you do this? Or do you go low? And
I
they
noticed
hit when you do whatever else.
I noticed right away John A's. She had more of an athletic stance, and Beth was like to start. Just feet together, standing up, kind of like strange. And I'm like, that's not the, like, John A's stance, way better to start. Way better. And, yeah, John A was way better just in general.
Yeah. I don't know. I was trying to figure out because I think, obviously you would think that you would keep one that was out in your side because you would use that as a something to hold on to. Do you know what I'm saying? But eventually, like, you couldn't get around that. I think that they've made it set up so that if it's all the way out, I mean, obviously, do you know what I'm saying? You couldn't work your way around it if you had to get to the other side. You had to
Yes.
push that in. And once that slowly goes in because you're moving, people could
Push it out.
push it back out. So there is strategy to it. It's not long. And they soon figure out, and this is not the first time, it will not be the last, how ridiculous it is to get upset, that the people watching what's going on will sometimes give you hints or cheer you on. And it's MJ's like, I can walk over to the other side and tell her left or right or whatever else.
See, this kind of... First of all, I did not hear from TJ that we could not, or people could not help.
Why would
we?
Why would he say that? He would never
You know
say
what
that.
I mean?
Yeah.
And this is not the type of challenge that would bother me with people helping. Like when it was Tori trying to help Emmanuel with the puzzle, I did not like that.
Of course. I agree with that, but that's different. There's a relationship with Devin, and it was like,
Right.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah, there was multi layers.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But this helping each other, I don't know. Like I don't think that it was a problem.
It's a problem because there's not another voice on her side.
Oh, yeah.
Telling her what to do. Or
Yeah,
whatever
nobody
else.
likes me.
That's where the
I've
problem
been terrible,
is.
and nobody likes me.
Because, I mean, that'll come out in the next one. You know, there are people that are, Veronica's cheering on. Yes. So that's the problem. And then you just see her holding on, and they're all pushing her direction. And she goes, you know what? I quit.
I'm done. And then all of a sudden it was about the heights. But I thought it was more just about her being frustrated.
She was frustrated. The heights is an excuse. She says it on her exit interview. I'll go work on things, and including my fear of heights. And I was like, just go. Just go. Like, don't even come back to the reunion.
Please.
Just go. Like, I don't, like, no. Not 30 seconds, not 20 seconds, not 15 seconds of the reunion. Don't come back.
I would take Nicole over her.
I just no. I take the dog that was in 2 episodes.
Well, I mean, the dog in 2 episodes was amazing.
Probably coming back. Yeah.
I hope the dog comes back.
Yeah. So and TJ's just like, ugh, he just got here, and she's like, I know TJ.
He was like actually pretty chill about it, but and I think it was Veronica that said it's like, who else wanted, like, you took someone else's opportunity, like someone else wanted to be here, probably.
Yeah.
There probably might be somebody else in quarantine or somebody that like didn't make the cut but like was like close to getting on the show,
Yeah.
and then she just comes in and does this.
But I'm not surprised. I'm not at all.
But it ticks me off is my point.
I gotcha. So was the big one because this, like I said,
The men was awesome.
Yeah, Wes was just like, I'm calling out the biggest character flaw or person with a character
worst
character
judge of
judgment,
character.
Yeah.
And then is great.
Yeah, and everyone's like,
Yes says, I'm just here to nurture this flame.
Wes is better. Yes is fine.
This flame of fairness and integrity. And then TJ,
Thrones
there's a pause, and he goes, now how do you really feel?
No. You know what this is? This is Yes throwing a trip 19 in a dartboard, and then TJ throwing a trip 20, and then right after that, Wes throws out a double bullseye by being like, even TJ knows you're full of yes. It was fun. It was fun because they went back to back to back.
It was cute.
Yeah. And then, yes, you know what he does? He just laughs. He's like, call me out.
He's like such a, he's just chill. I like him. He has a good spirit.
Yeah.
And this is a battle. With the men, it's completely different because you have two people that are really going for it very intensely.
Is Yes trying to do what Jordan did to Darrell?
That's what I was getting. I was getting that vibe.
He's very vocal, and everyone's kind of like, Wes to do anything. And
when he said, what was it like? He was talking about like humping.
Yeah,
it?
he's like just humping the stool. I think he said humping the stool or something.
I was like, this guy.
And then Wes is like, keep talking.
I didn't know he could say an inappropriate thing.
Keep talking because I can tell where your voice is. I mean, they showed a lot.
That made such sense. It's like, like you're yelling, and I know exactly where you are. Like I hear it.
And they said like it was like boom, boom, back and forth. But really, they showed
it looked
taking
like
a lot.
Like got hit so many times.
Yeah,
and took it like a freaking champ too, which. Awesome. Love that. So Wes wins.
Mm-hmm.
Thrilled. He does the on the way down from the harness, which was fantastic. What is that? Like, who is that? Is that something specific?
Oh, some superhero or whatever.
Some superhero thing.
Do you want to talk about
One Tree?
Right, want to talk about One Tree Hill or something? Like you get the Marvel movies. I'm in and out. I'm like,
I forget
that
that's your block.
I saw.
Like
I watch them and then I'm like, okay, I'm good. I saw it, but yeah,
that is weird. That is like your block is like superhero movies.
I watch them. I just don't
retain it or
I'm like,
care.
I'm like, oh man, remember when they flew out of the air with their arms like that? Like, I don't know. Yeah. If you ask me that, I just
Guardians of the Galaxy.
I thought that was great.
Those are great. Great music.
But when you're doing this, I think it's.
I just didn't know if it was somebody.
Hawkeye from Avengers. I don't know.
I'm not like I don't know.
Up and away. He's Superman.
It was cute.
Up and away.
Maybe it was Superman.
Yeah. All right, there we go. Speaking of Soldier Boy, yeah, bring that back too. Maybe that's why they sing the episode. There's a foreshadowing. Yeah, he's Superman. Anyway, Soldier Boy. There you go.
Hey, look, I got that back from like.
It was the exchange. Yes, like you got me. Wes
that
like,
was
yeah.
So great.
He's like, I do think
that.
you're a great competitor, good guy. And Wes is like, okay, good. Let's move on. Yeah.
TJ says, Beth, all right, work on heights or whatever. She's like, I will next time. Yeah. And then TJ says to Yes, you're probably my favorite human to ever be on the challenge. That is the most glowing review I have ever heard from him. And for a second there, I got a little like, because I was like, what about Leroy? Like, you love Leroy, TJ? Like,
no, somewhere, Johnny Bananas broke a remote control through a TV, being like, no, I should be one of you, but no, anyway. No, it was a great send-off, and it made me happy because I'm like, all right, he'll be back, if he wants to be, but.
So now here's something else. TJ said, and I noticed this on my rewatch, this ends your time here for now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for now.
Does that mean...
Oh, boy.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I think I know what you're talking
I hope not for Beth, but does that mean that potentially...
Oh, I went a different direction when you said that right there. When we can get to that. What are you thinking? That what? Does
that mean that there's like going to be like a redemption house? People can come back or like...
There's not enough episodes for this.
The for now, like...
I don't think there's enough episodes.
It's like leaving me on the hook.
I'm thinking more
for
July 6th.
Oh, God. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Thank you. Okay.
Halfway to the final, Ronnie has a great quote. She says, it's the yin and the yang that are leaving because it's like somebody who was trying to keep the peace and some in the house, which was Yes, and somebody who was all about the chaos, and that was Beth. I do have one random other thing that I want to talk to you about in regards to this. So I saw on Twitter a couple weeks ago something in regards to Naya in a pink dress. You remember she wears the pink dress in her confessional. And I guess she had said something like, I even loaned her my dress and then she turned on me, or something like that.
Okay.
Sylvia was wearing that same pink dress tonight. And last week, Kayla was wearing that pink dress. So who's going to turn on Naya and it be a thing? Allegedly, maybe it's Sylvia.
Okay. Yeah. And I think, but Naya was never in the treehouse or anything like that.
True.
Because that's another thing that they give in the previews of like the treehouse is like that thing's done. Or I think it might be Ryan says I'm done with the treehouse or something. But
I don't know. It's just interesting because it's Naya's dress and those two have both worn it.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just like some sort of weird like foreshadowing, and I'm like curious. I think it might be Sylvia. That things go down with Naya and Sylvia.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to say.
In the previews, I don't know if there's too much that...
Oh, did you hear that last week on accident they dropped episode 8?
No.
So it went episode 4 and then randomly, and it must have been later in the day because I'd watched it earlier, episode 8 was just randomly there.
Oh,
so
no.
A lot of people have seen episode 8. I haven't, thank God, but I did see a picture, so I saw like who's on the cover of the picture, so I know like whoever on the cover of the picture like is obviously gonna like still be there. But what a mess up.
7, 8. So I'm just doing the math. I'm trying
because it's 10 episodes.
10 episodes, 5 left.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are not bleeding into July 6th.
No, they are not. And I did the math today. I literally counted, and it's like that. It's that day is the last day, right?
Yeah, they're no dummies here. They're not overlapping anymore for these shows.
All right, so give me your take on CBS The Challenge.
All right. Well, first, who won the episode?
Okay.
I believe it's Wes. Okay.
Yes,
Beth loses the episode.
Beth loses.
I do think Wes wins this episode.
Wes
I
wins for sure.
really do. Best line came up with you had the one
Sylvia talking about her mama.
Yeah, and the werewolf.
Cute.
The we're not crying wolf. This is a wolf. That's a good one.
That's
TJ gets one too. A nod at that, so you can pick which one
that was cute.
best human being ever to be on the planet on this challenge. I just think maybe I like the one about the mom. I really do, but I like the wolf too. We're not crying wolf because he's actually talking to champions and being like, "I've competed against him. You haven't.
This is a wolf.
This is a wolf." And they're like, "Oh, he's got to go." And like, "Oh," and even Jordan, he's like, "You want me to run, do this?" And then he realizes he's like. And even Jordan's always the first to be like, they're all out to get me. But he's kind of have this kind of clarity of he's a good guy. But now he's just kind of like, oh, I see this. They are all out to get me type of thing. So I think the wolf thing is the one. I do like TJ's too. They're such good ones. Yeah, I don't know.
And the yin and the yang was good too.
Yeah, the yin and the yang one was good too. You already nailed the retitle it if we put a category in there, which now we are going
Super
to.
Shady.
Yeah.
Episode 5.
Now we're definitely going to
Shady.
retitle the episode every time. What would Bananas do? I already told you Bananas would have been on that bus. He would have called that sucker out in a heartbeat saying you said this about her.
Oh, it would have been good.
So that in the category what would Bananas do in there. Apparently if we had who wore it best, it's this dress thing that I now have to pay attention to.
Actually, it's a cute pink dress for sure. But Kayla, did you see her interviews?
Wait,
tonight?
did she have the yellow top?
No. What I'm talking
who had
about,
the yellow top? Is Cross came whatever hair is it the top?
I think that was Kellyanne.
Nope. I'm telling you no. I do not like anything Kellyanne wears. Nope. Not Kellyanne. Now I have to go back. I think it was Kayla. The yellow top is in a confessional.
See, Kayla was
Maybe
wearing
Naya.
like kind of a I don't know, bustier thing. I don't know. It was like a tank top that was like lace and then black, and it looked
Okay.
she looks really pretty.
It wasn't Mark because he likes to wear my
That was in an interview.
my 10-year-old son's T-shirts, so it's not Mark. He didn't wear it best. But there's a yellow top that looked good that I was like, oh, and I don't notice this crap.
Probably
by the
on
way.
Naya because she's your
people
crush.
watching. Look at the way I dress. We've been over this before.
Robert Carl, it's great.
But I was like, oh, because I think in my head when I'm watching it's like categories, and I was like, oh, I like that, but then I forgot obviously it didn't stick in my head that much. I forgot what it was, but I want to pay attention to this dress thing too. So yeah, as far as categories, that's it. I think that was a no-brainer. Who won the episode? Who lost the episode?
Oh, cringeworthy moment.
It's Beth. It's just her in general. Every scene, from the flannel pajamas to the talking about like what she can do, or about talking about that she's cheating on her husband, to quitting, to blaming on the heights, like just up and down the ladder. She just is like, it's a tie. Good job, Beth. You tied everything. Every time you're on this show,
I do like
you tied for
when Nehemiah saged her. That was fun.
Yeah, you got to do something. And she's like, "What's going on?" And then she doesn't do it.
She's like, she needs it.
Thank God she didn't like call her my tenderoni again.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So yeah, just Beth gets the cringe. She makes us cringe.
Love categories. All right, July 6th. That's maybe when you said that, like we did for now. This is USA Challenge.
It's
Challenge USA.
CBS, the Challenge USA.
Yeah.
It's going to air after Big Brother. Big Brother's going to premiere that night.
Yep.
They had a preview. Thank God TJ's back. That's might be what's going to help me.
Isn't on there, so you've seen the preview.
Correct.
Okay.
When they talked about it before, they said anybody who had previously been on like the MTV Challenge was not going to be asked.
Okay.
So even like Big Brother people that had been on MTV The Challenge would be like a no-go. I don't know if that's like true, but it seems that's what happened. So it's Big Brother people, Survivor, Amazing Race, and Love Island. And it's the Challenge, but on CBS.
This is the conflict of conflicts. Because
Same.
I will be in Nashville for a softball tournament on July 6th.
Aw.
Which, fortunately enough, I have access to log in Paramount Plus. Now, the question is, do I have 3 hours at night
Right, because
to watch 90 minutes of Big Brother and 90 minutes of Paramount Plus? The answer is, of course I do, because I will stay up till an ungodly amount of time to watch this.
Oh, you like love Big Brother so hard.
But to get this upset over what I think this... I haven't watched anything about this Challenge USA Challenge.
It was just a preview.
No. I'm asking.
Oh, okay.
You've seen it. Is there any people out there that intrigue you right now?
They didn't really show any people.
Oh, okay.
It was just from like far away
Guess I was
distances,
asking
and
for,
they had like
spoilers.
and they had like things like above stuff. You know.
It's June 1st, and let me tell you a little story here, okay? Back in the year, and I think it was like 1984. If I say 84, it could have been 85, could have been 86, but I believe 84. There's a third baseman for the Kansas City Royals called George Brett. Not called, named. All right, he's playing the New York Yankees, and he hits a home run. And Billy Martin comes out with the bat, and he's like, "Listen, I think that pine tar is a little bit further than it's supposed to be legally. I mean, it's only supposed to be as wide as the home plate. It's a dumb rule. It really is. It's archaic, and like off the show, I'll tell you why they had it. So and George Brett is sitting there, and he's like, "What are they doing?" And he's like, "If they call this home run an out because of the pine tar, I'm just gonna go out there and just throw a fit. I'm going to act like I'm mad." All right, he's telling this to the guy sitting there, right? And lo and behold, they throw him out. And when George Brett tells the story, he's like, and everyone's like, "Why are you as red as a plum? Like a red, delicious apple, your face, you're screaming." And he's like, "I'm mad because I'm getting mad. Because at first I thought it was a joke that they're even doing this. Now I'm getting mad." And that is how I think I'm going to feel about this challenge if I waste 90 minutes. Because right now I'm telling you on June 1st that I'm like, I don't want to watch this. But at what point am I going to turn into George Brett and be like, I am mad that I have wasted 88 minutes? That's about how far I think I'm going to get to. Until I finally get
the last 2 minutes, you're like, nope.
Yeah. At what point am I going to go,
it.
I cannot do this? Now, am I biased? Of course I am. Do you know why? Because there's a certain person called Johnny Bananas that thinks this is garbage already. But if I can find a leak for some Big Brother people, because I don't watch Survivor, I don't watch Love Island, and I don't watch Amazing Race.
Correct. Yeah, I don't do any of those either.
So
I go back and forth with Big Brother just because you're my homie.
Cody's
Otherwise,
never been on there.
whispering
Cody
in the house.
California has never been on there.
I did hear that he was not asked on it because he's not vaccinated. He talked about it in like a live.
I just don't know who else they're going to bring in that's even worth what
I did
need to
not
see.
watch last season or the season before of Big Brother. The last season was the one with Annalise. And
Big Brother is a lot like The Challenge. I'm with him for a good 90, 99 days, 100 days out of my life.
it's
And
too
then I
many
just forget about it.
episodes. It's too many episodes for me. It's like such a commitment. You know, for a teacher in the summer who doesn't have anything to do. It's like such a commitment.
Just like, it's
so
it's
much.
An hour or whatever else. Half of it's a recap. You can fast forward to it. So anyway, hey, this is a challenge podcast. I don't think I'm going to like this CBS version of it on network television. I don't think it's going to go well. And they're just trying to get the people from Big Brother to follow along, which I understand. And they've tried to by bringing them over or whatever else. Love Island. I don't know anybody who watches that show. Don't care.
I did season 1.
Okay, Amazing Race. I don't watch that either.
It's one like I thought I should watch, but I just never did.
Yeah,
And same with Survivor.
I don't even know the show. Like, do they travel around the world in 180 days, or is it just
I think
they just run around?
It's a race, and it's amazing around the world.
It sounds amazing. I just don't watch it, and I don't. And I after like I think I watched like the first season of Survivor, or at least the finale, and I was
the
like,
very first one with
and I'm like, I don't like
that
Richard
one guy.
Hatch.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't like this. So, I mean, I've been Big Brother since season 2, and I've been the challenge since Road Rules, Real World Rules All Stars, the challenge themselves. So, I just think this thing is going to be terrible. So, but will I give it 90 minutes? Of course.
what I did like about the preview, and I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
I am so with you on this. But what I did like about the preview, because I was thinking they were going to make it super campy, like American Gladiator style.
Okay.
The challenges that they like
American Gladiator.
clipped to.
Can they have names like Nitro and
Yeah.
Flash again and everything else? Like,
It was
yeah.
my favorite. Diamond. She was my
Yeah,
favorite.
yeah,
I loved Diamond.
Yeah.
They looked challenge-esque.
Okay.
You know, things suspended and like,
Yeah.
you know, movie stuff kind of. You know what I mean? So it looked at least not Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, but who goes on Love Island? They're like, I just hope at some point I'm on the challenge. Like,
I think anymore, you get on a show and then people keep calling, you go.
Mm-hmm.
It just made me think of Ed. Remember Ed?
oh yeah,
He was so nice from
See,
the circle.
Yeah, did they bring anyone from the Circle? I don't think that's
No, because it's Netflix.
but they did already.
But no, on MTV, not
Yeah,
on and not CBS.
All owned by Paramount.
True.
So I don't
Yeah,
know.
not to my knowledge, anybody from the circle.
Huh. I like Ed. But yeah, he's already been on it, so they already
Yeah.
said they're not going to do it. Well, we're just going to have to wait for spoilers and leaks and everything else. But I'm glad we got to talk about it because when you said for now, I'm like, oh, is Jess going to go on the challenge there? But
Oh, he would be great. He tweeted today. He was like, or Brad tweeted, and I think Yes tweeted today that they're like, sign me up. I want to do it. And I'm like, I heard that that's not a thing.
oh, they want to do the
Mm-hmm.
well. Brad
CBS
wants to
one.
do it because if you didn't know, he lost his job before the COVID, during the COVID, and he needs money for his family.
I'm
so.
sure he's fine. They asked him about a storyline or whatever. He gave it to him.
No, again, I'm not. I'm just saying. Everyone's got reason. I've been saying this all along. Everyone's got reason to win the money, you know. So, anyway, we talked a lot more about this episode than I thought we were going to because I really
Same.
was like,
It was
the
better
build-up
than last
was
episode.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was better than last episode. Good challenge, good elimination. Right people went home, essentially.
yeah. Well,
and we'll see what happens.
I think just what you said just gave me something also because we do talk about production a lot and everything. Better than last episode. Last episode was we started off. I think I would retitled it "Fart Noise" last episode. But knowing them, how they put together, doesn't matter how many episodes. The second half is always better. The second act is always better than the first act.
Yes.
So here we go. It's intermission, and it's gonna get big after this because they do know what they're doing, and then they gave you with the preview. Things are changing now. The alliances are changing. It is, all out, and they still haven't said anything about these stars.
No.
So
Also, do you think next episode, MJ's going to go home because of his knee.
It's
and
coming.
Yes is going to come back. Are they going to do that?
It's coming, but I thought a lot about it because he's going to have to injure it in a competition to where someone's like, I think it's gonna we're taking the low hanging fruit here. That's what I think's gonna happen. I don't know if it's next episode. I just know when it happens, it's gonna be. But there's it was episode 1 of the preview. There's an ambulance, and someone gets taken off in an ambulance.
Well, we saw Darrell was in an ambulance. They didn't show it in the actual episode, but then when they showed it in the recap from last week, there was an ambulance.
Skip the recap, so that's what it was?
Mm-hmm.
That's on me. That's what Paramount Plus can do. When they give you that skip, I'm like, yep. By the way, is there anything more frantically involved in your life at this day and age that when the thing gives you, like, skip the recap and you're looking for that remote, like, everybody's moving, like, your significant other, the dog, everyone's got to get off the couch. It's like your parents came home when you were naked for the first time. You're moving around like, where's that remote? I want to skip everything. I do not want to hear this intro one more time.
Oh, God, the intro.
I loved it. Yep, that's what I'm saying. When that comes up, like skip intro, you're like, everybody get up and find the remote right now because we're skipping it.
When they first realized they had that button, it was when I was binging Orange is the New Black a million years ago, and that intro is horrible. The song is it's awful. So thank God for that.
Yeah. Hey, everybody fend for themselves.
Streaming, it's great,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah, but I think it's going to get much better after this. It's going to get more cutthroat. Vows, words, handshakes, all of them are going to be broken. So, second act's going to be better than the first act.
Ain't mad at it.
Mm-mm.
All right, well, follow us on Twitter, Final Alliance 1, Instagram, Final Alliance, YouTube, we are Final Alliance Podcast, and Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, we are Final Alliance Podcast.
Cheers.
Beth. Deuces.